Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our viewers worldwide. Today is the second day of our event entitled Autodesk AutoCAD 2022 3D Essential Training. And for the second day of our event, we will be focusing more on the 3D related commands such as color rendering, material properties, image as material, image adjustments, and rendering and lights. This event is brought to you by the Autodesk Community Philippines in partnership with the Junior Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers, PUP Taguig. Today, April 6, 2022. And before we formally proceed to the event proper, let us start this with the opening rights. Yeah, and again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our viewers worldwide. And I hope that every one of us is safe and sound in our own houses, or maybe some of us is in our workplaces. So I hope that everyone is safe and sound. And but before that, let me just give some shout outs to our comment section here. So from wait from AL Lumodag from St. Peter's College, Ilagan City. And from Eloisa de Guzman, good evening daw. Good evening to all of us here na stay sa ating live. And let me check. From Muhammad Naft Kamid from St. Peter College, Ilagan City. Good evening. And from Pagador Jovil Jane P from St. Peter's College, Ilagan City again. So we have many participants today from St. Peter's College. And yeah, good evening to all of you. And we have here from Aderes Maui Daryl D. Good evening po from Iris, Manila. Oh, from Iris, Manila. Good evening. And we have here also from Enric Glina. Good evening from Bicol University. Shout out sa mga taga Bicol University. Also, we have Ali Place. Shout out from TUP Manila. Good evening. Good evening sa mga taga TUP Manila natin na naka-tune in sa ating live sa different platforms ng Autodesk Community Philippines. And of course, we have here shout out to Jocelyn Grace Capitan, UST BSME Batch 2012. Oh, I think this one is a alumni. And also we have here Patricio James John C. PUPAC. Yan, shout out sa iyo, Patricio James John C. And we will not make this any longer. We will now proceed to the day 2 of our webinar, and we will do more shout outs later for those who are waiting for their names to be called. And we will now proceed to the program proper, and I will now introduce again our speaker for today's event. And I hope that every one of us learned a lot from the tutorial yesterday, and I hope as well that today we will be learning more of about the basics, from basics or even to complicated things about AutoCAD. And we will not make you wait any longer. We will now introduce again our speaker for tonight's event. Our speaker for tonight is a naval architect and marine engineer, project manager, designer, and boat builder. Let us all welcome Engineer John Emil Mortilla. Let's give him a virtual round of applause. Good afternoon, sir. Engineer John.
Hello, Lay, and everyone watching the Autodesk AutoCAD 2022 Essential Training. And good evening to everybody.
Good evening po, Sir John. And anytime that you're ready po, you can now start the screen sharing po and for the tutorial proper po.
Okay, so to start, we'll have a recap muna. we'll have a recap of what happened yesterday. So we have a recap. What we have learned yesterday was extrude these following commands. So you can screenshot, you can take a picture or print screen, anything you like. So you can keep this following commands. Extrude, union, intersect, subtract. Then under solid edit, we have the following commands. And then the special commands, slice and fillet edge. Before we start ulit, on how we go to the 3D modeling. So this is what your new drawing would look like in the default settings of the AutoCAD. So to show the 3D workspace, by the way, we are in the current 2D workspace. So we go to this drop down button beside share or the undo and redo button. Then we check workspace. So when we check workspace, drafting and annotation will appear above. So above here, we click drafting and annotation. And then we select 3D modeling. Okay. So now we are in the 3D modeling workspace. And as you can see, in the ribbon, we have the following: home, solid, surface, mesh, visualize, parametric, insert, annotate, then the view, manage. So additional commands, some very useful commands besides what we learned yesterday. So we have the Helix. So what does Helix looks like or how it is useful? Helix is a command that is very useful for producing something like springs. So we have the command Helix. Helix, type Helix, enter, center point, then specify the radius, or we can select diameter. For diameter, let's say our diameter is 200. Then we specify the top radius or top diameter. Let's specify 200 again. And then we will specify the helix height. So when we specify the helix height, let's say 500. Okay, so we have the helix. So what are the other commands we saw earlier on the command bar? So let's attach the command bar below so everybody can see. Helix, center point. Then, as you can see, there is the axis endpoint, turns, turn height, and twist. So for axis endpoint, you can type A or you can click this. Then it will specify on which way your helix will turn. Okay, so let's go back. Helix. Axis endpoint. So if you want it in the y-axis, in your UCS, x-axis, or the z-axis, you can do this through the axis endpoint. Now, we go to turns. So when you specify turns in a helix, you will be asked how many number of turns. So when I specify 10, there will be 10 turns on the helix. Okay? So the next command, we have the turn height. You can click again turn height or press H, enter. And we can specify the distance between turns. So for example, I want the turns spaced 80 per turn, and the turn will be spaced 80 millimeter between each other. Then you can specify the height. Now, the last one, we have twists. For twists, you can press W, enter, or click twists. For twist, we have CW or CCW. For CW or CCW, it is clockwise turn or counterclockwise. So by default, we have clockwise. So if you observe our helix here, it is by clockwise. So let's try counterclockwise. Counterclockwise, it will do the opposite. So a note of advice, if you mirror this helix from a counterclockwise, it will be a clockwise. So be careful. If you want the same orientation of your helix, just do copy. So you will have the exact same orientation. Okay. So next, we have sweep. So the sweep command is used by using two objects or two 2D planes. So I'll draw a circle. You can draw it anywhere. Then you type in the command sweep, then enter. It will prompt you to select which object to sweep. So select the circle, then enter. After selecting the circle, it will prompt you to select the sweep path. So select the sweep path, select the helix. Oops, sorry. Select the helix. Here. So now, the circle is being swept to the path of the helix. So what happens if we do again sweep? This time we press mode. Mode, it will prompt you to have a solid or a surface. So when we press surface, we do the same earlier. Select the circle, then select the helix or the path. Okay, it will prompt you or it will make you a surface. A surface object. It is not an enclosed solid. So for example, this one is a solid. When we make this one a solid, it is solid throughout. Okay. So next, another use for sweep. So for sweep, For example, you are going to make a polyline. And then you want this size of square to go to this path. So you have to use sweep, select the square, then select the path. Okay, so that's the easy way to do walls. So another good example for creating, this is a sample of a roof drain. In Tagalog, alulod. So sweep, select the enclosed. Take note, this is an enclosed surface, enclosed object. So if you select an enclosed object and sweep it, it will become a solid. So if this is not an enclosed, mind you everyone, it will become a surface only. So select the sweep path. There. So this is the easy way for doing 3D on your roof. For example, there is a roof here above, and this is your gutter, the roof drain. Then you, for example, you want to place the drain there, PVC pipe, and there. So this is one of example on how to use the sweep. A good example. So next, we have loft. So for loft, let's draw circles varying diameters. So let's see, say I move this on different heights. Then I use the command loft. And when using loft, you select the cross sections. So what are the cross sections of the object? This one, this one, this one, this one, the circles. So we select from top to bottom. Select this one, select this one, select this, then select the bottom one. Then select, then enter, and then enter again to create a lofted object. Okay, so what happens if we use surface? Second loft, have the mode. There's also a surface. Select the cross sections in order and enter. We have a surface. We check by slice. The object is a surface only. Okay, let's go back. So what happens if you messed up the order in lofting? So lofting, example, I press the top, I press this one, then I press middle one, then I press the other one. There, you can create other objects. So it's up to you on how to use lofting. You're going to make, for example, a cone. Second loft, select, and there. This is very useful if you are 3D modeling lamp shades or anything with curves. Okay, so after loft, we have revolve. For revolve, you have to select the objects and have the command revolve. And select axis on where will you revolve the object. So there. So revolving the object, you can specify if you will revolve it by 360 degrees. So let's say we revolve it by 90 degrees. Revolve it only quarter of the top. So as you can see, it's only a surface. So let's try if we can make it a solid. So now this is joined. Every there. Let's explode it again. Everything is exploded. Now we join everything. Then let's try revolve. Try revolve. In the cross section, you will see that it is a solid. So now, let's type 360. And there we go. We have a simple mug. So there is the next command. Which is thicken. For thicken, let's make a rectangle using separated lines. Okay, so extrude. Then we have the command thicken. Specify thickness, let's say 10 mm. Then there we go. It will have thickness. So this will be useful if you forgot to offset or specify that this should be a solid. Another one for thicken, if you specify thickness, say 20, it goes outside of the object. So you can manipulate this by having fillet or any other command we learned yesterday. Okay, so after additional commands, I'll go on to color rendering. So for color rendering, how do we go to the color rendering option? And where do we find it? If you explore the ribbon, it's very confusing. So we go to visualize ribbon. And after visualize ribbon, we go to materials browser. So when we click Materials Browser, this will appear. Okay. These material browsers contain every materials you want, but not specifically every properties or every appearance that you want. For example, we have this ceramic, there's the concrete, default the default colors, the fabric, finish, flooring, glass, liquids, kind of the swimming pools or the sea, masonry, metals, metallic colors, so on and so forth. So for example, you forgot or you are in a hurry. So there is a command for the materials browser. The command for materials browser is rmat. Here in the command bar, look, rmat, material browser open. Press enter, and the following will appear. Okay, so let's try our cup. Let's say it should be clay. Oh, walang material na clay. There's no clay. So let's go with metal. Let's say stainless. Stainless steel. You have the different appearances of stainless. There's the brushed, polished, satin. Then let's try polished. It won't appear yet because we are in conceptual. Okay, so how do we make this appear like the realistic? So let's go to visual style. Select realistic. And it will appear like this. Why did this appear like this one? So you will get only the true colors through rendering and applying the correct lights. So additionally, everyone, since we are already in the color rendering, we have an assignment. Lei, can you explain to them on what they would be doing using this before I proceed to the next?
Hello po, sir. And good evening, Paulette. And also, we'll be having this exercise. This is a bedroom rendering. Is it right po, sir?
Yes, Lei, this is a bedroom rendering. I will be teaching you how to reverse engineer a drawing like this. So, for example, this is a drawing model from dwgmodels.com. So, I use this most for practices. And yes, this will be your assignment. So, Lei, can you please explain to them on what they will be doing?
Yes po. For those who registered and who want to do the exercise or assignment, you will be receiving this exercise file through your email that you use in registration. So make sure that the email that you use in the registration is your active email for you to receive this exercise file. And if ever, you can check the if ever you have encountered difficulties, you can check the exercise file in your spam messages, because maybe it will go there, and yeah, it will be sent through your emails later on. That is it, sir.
Okay, Lay. Let me continue again for
Yes, yes,
DWG
you may.
models. Okay. Hello. Okay. Okay. This time, I'll be using the middle one. I'm gonna teach you on how to reverse engineer and 3D model this bedroom. So if you notice, first, we are in the top view. The flooring, we can remove the flooring, which is hatched. So remove the flooring. We don't need the flooring for the 3D. In this one, so create a copy. I create a copy. And now the first thing we need to do, specify the walls of the bedroom. So how? I have three other drawings here. You can just say, measure this. So we get 2951. So the extrusion of our walls will be 2951. Okay. So before starting again, we have viewports. Viewports, 3 right. Setup is 3D. Front cam, top cam. So let's do vertical. Top only and south is isometric. And for the right side, go for conceptual. So you won't be distracted. So as this will be on this side will be our only reference for measurements. We focus on the 3D. So one technique that we can do here is, let's check muna layers. I'm in color blue. Okay. So we have the command line. So let's say I don't, I'll put my camera in this area. Let's color this red. Color this one red. I'll put my camera here, then it will be facing here and here. So this will be our field of view. Okay, so we trace these lines, or if you can join them. If you cannot join them, just trace, or you can use spline. Trace them like that. Let extrude muna. 2951, 2951, and 2951. Let's do this with the other parts. Join them. Mhm. Extrude. By the way, this is a technique that I do. So for example, this is already specified with the height of 2951. When extruding, you can just click on a grab point of another object and it will follow the height of extrusion. Let's make again. Good. Now, as you can see, we are already halfway to the walls. If you are following me, you would also be halfway done with the wall. Okay, select the height. Okay. So what are we missing for the walls? So let's go back to the other drawing. For the walls, in the door, over here, over here, it has a wall up. So we can measure this. We can measure this. But we not measure. Mm. But we should have point. Wait. So, I'll do the eyeball method na lang since hindi siya mag-grab point. So, the height of the door and its door jamb is 2.2 meters. Or you can also measure from here to the top. We have 740. Okay, so let's do the door jamb. It's 2.2 meters. Type 2,200 millimeters. Other side, 2,200 millimeters. We delete this swinging notation. Accurately, we can draw. I sorry. Can draw the rectangle. Just draw the rectangle here. I know this is not an exact measurement. So you can draw a square there, then extrude it to the other side. Additionally, you can have them joined or using union. Select the four objects and its union. So now that we have the door jambs, we can now try to close. Try to close this area. Having a path using your lines and creating a joined rectangle. So when we extrude, and select here and oops. It is already closed. We have finished the wall above the door. Additionally, how would we go with this one? So we can extrude this also by lines. Three lines, then we can extrude them. So by verify the height, firstly, is 770. Let's do 775. Uh-huh. And 75. There. Hmm. So once you have mastered on how to do the walls, you can hide them. You hide, hide. Hide, right click, hide objects. Hide, hide, hide. So you can do that by right clicking. So now, how about the furnitures? So for furnitures, you can go and directly extrude this one. So how about the elevations and the drawers? So what I would like to do is copy this, bring it over, to this. Now, you would be thinking, how? Now we will use the UCS. UCS, select the x-axis and the y-axis. So why am I going to do this? This would be a reference for rotation. So we rotate it up, and then we reset UCS back to world. Okay, UCS is now back into its original settings. Now, we move this forward, extrude, and there we go. We have the side table. So how about these drawers? So we can also go extrude, or you can create a new rectangle, another rectangle, select that rectangle, extrude it by, let's say, 20, an inch. Same with the other one, 20. Then we move the handles with 20. You can also extrude this, say 30. There. We have the Side table. So after the side table, we can also hide this one. Just right click, isolate, hide object. So once you have done with this objects, you can proceed to coloring, or what I call material application. Let me open a file. Okay, so after your modeling, it will somehow look like this. So it's up to you on how you will decorate, or if you will follow what is in the floor plan, or you make your own bedroom out of that as a base. It will come out like this. So let's go to RMAT for materials. Let's remove this top side. So it's easy to see. Okay. So when we are in conceptual, any material you put, you won't see it. So you have to go to realistic. So for realistic, there you will have the aluminum blue color on the walls. Let's move the material browser. Okay. So let's have a paint. Lay, anong magandang color ng wall natin? Sa tingin mo? Ano kaya magandang ilagay natin? Hello, Lay? Wala yata si Lay. So, okay. Let's have paint. So, for paint, ito na lang. For paint, you can select the paint one, drag it to the object. It will be painted white. So, another option you can do, for example, you don't want the paint to be white. You want it to be color red. So you can right click. Oops. You can right click, click edit. And the materials editor will appear. So color, you can select, you select color. Then you can experiment with any color you want. Sample red. Select red. Hindi siya nag-change. So this one pala, this one is with finish painting. Yes, so it is overlapped by an image. So you can slide down image fade to 0. So 0, you can select glossiness. And by the way, you can see the color or the appearance here. You can set the scene is sphere, cube, or a glass. If you're trying to put a material in a glass or walls, there. So example, we don't want this red paint. So we can just type wall. Everything about wall will come down here. Let's select wall paint. There's many color of paint here. Let's say wheat, color sweet. And when you select the color, additionally, if you want to color other parts of your wall, you can also select the objects first. Then right click the color above, then assign to selection. So when you assign to selection, it will be colored the same as the wheat color. So now let's move on to glass. So for glass, let's type glass. Have glass, then let's get a clear glass. There. Aluminum. So aluminum frame. Painted white. For our window frames, door frame. And how about our floor? For our floor, you can type in floor. We have ceramic. We have tile. The concrete. And flooring. So for flooring, we have wood. Okay, so wood. Let's put in wood. American cherry. For American cherry, we have the wood flooring na. There. So for if you do not want the flooring to be like this immediately, you can edit. For example, you want larger tiles. Or you have the other settings. If you do not want the wood, or you want a custom flooring, we have checkers or checkered. You can set the color, positions, then sample sizes, 300 by 300. So if we make it 600, we'll enlarge. Or 900, we'll enlarge. At the same time, if we type in 50, checkered tile will be smaller. Let's go back to 300. And gradient. So for gradient, this is less used since this is more to show shadows. If you want to show shadows on certain objects, you can use this gradient. So marble, we have the noise, speckle, tiles, the waves, and wood. Yan. So si wood, you can also play with these options to satisfy on what are your requirements or what is visually pleasing to you. Okay, so let's go back to the default of American Cherry. Now, after you model this one, you will have something like this. Okay, so something like this. Mhm. Okay, so we'll move on to lights. So for example, after rendering, you have this one and no, we have the camera pala muna. I forgot the camera. So let's hide this one. So how do you place a camera? This is a camera. Here. For example, so let's go back to the other bedroom. Type in, let's delete this one. Type in camera. And you specify the location. For your location, then you will move the camera on its viewing location. So enter an option. So just exit and you would have your camera here. So when you select your camera, take note, you have a viewport and this side, and this is what your camera sees. So you select your camera, move it around. Okay. So for the camera, we have options to enlarge the field of view by selecting any of these four. Enlarge or narrow. Then we can lengthen. We can also rotate on where the camera will point. Let's say it pointed down. Let's point it down. The bedroom. So this is already a realistic view. Okay. So this is how you set up your camera. So if we want to go to the setup earlier, and move the camera using the Just use US tool, manipulate, and guide it where we exactly want the camera to go. Mhm. Wala. Yan. So, after setting up your camera and view it in this preview, at the same time, if you want your view to be the same as the camera, you can go to this view control where you can view it in top or left. So now you will notice there will be a custom model views, which is camera 1. And here is the exact view of your camera. So depending on how you set up your camera, you can be sure that it is in a cinematic or a wide view. So many 3D model can be seen. Moving on, let's go back to the lights. Lights. Let's go to visualize. So we have lights. By default, the light, you have a point light, a spotlight, a distant light, and a web light. So what we are using, what we are going to use today is a point light and a spotlight. So point light, you press turn off. We put it in this model. So with parallel view muna. Parallel, then let's isolate the ceiling light. There, so we have easy time to maneuver. So create light, we have a point light. And intensity, do we have the name of the light, the intensity factor, status, photometry, shadow. So you can also mess up with this or tweak according to what light do you need. For example, intensity factor, you can set 0.0 to max float. So what I'm gonna do is also, press enter again, and we'll see this small point light. We try to go here, medyo umiilaw siya. And you put a material like glass on your light, make it a clear, it will produce light. This is the the point light. So let's see. If we undo object isolation, go back to camera, the light is projecting via the point light. So when we try, so let's try rendering the light. So we'll be going to rendering. Okay, for rendering, what I usually do, select your settings to HDTV 1280 by 720 pixels. Then set it at high, or if you want the faster, you go to low. And I'm gonna render it in this viewport. So, di na tayo pabalik-balik. Okay, so select this kettle, uh, press, or you can type render. Render. Meron siyang ganyan. So, medyo mabilis, nag-render complete agad siya kasi naka-low. What if tanggalin natin to? Laksan natin yung let's make the point light brighter. Point light, the lamp intensity. You can change it in the properties. Let's say 10,000. Oh, sobrang liwanag. Very bright. Say 5,000. And this is very bright light. So let's see if we try to render without light. So this is what happens if you do not render with light. Saan ko muna? Undo. Let's remove the light. And let's try to render. Then HDTV. Okay, so anong nakita natin? What we saw here is darkness. So because we don't have any light, our rendered material is not exposed to any light. Okay. So let's move on. So if we don't have light, so this will be a perfect time to introduce spotlights. So spotlight, you can select the area outside. Then you can select the area to point the light. Then you can also mess around with these settings. So for me, I always just enter, and then it will show you this one. Okay. So if it showed you this one, you can manipulate this again. The inner one is the stretch point for the light or the intensity. Then the outer circle is for the fade away, or it's where the light starts to dissipate. Let's try rendering again for camera. So render to size. Yes. Um, let's change muna ng glass natin to clear. Then let's try to render again. Okay. Mhm. Wala pa rin. So, tanggalin na lang muna natin. But you can, I forgot the material where the light comes through. I think it's clear, but as you can see, it is not. You can experiment on your own. So for now, let's remove the glass, and this should be so there should be a light coming from outside to inside. Okay. So if we do not want to mess around with these lights, we can also have the sun and location. So for example, you have online from map or the specific coordinate, or you know where your project will be. You can pinpoint it on the map, and you can set the date and time. Then the lighting on that area will show. So you can also set the sky background and illumination. So let's go again to camera. Let's try render. Hindi pa rin. Okay. So in this case, for example, you don't want to mess around with point light, spotlight. You can make your objects shine using light. So you can type in the materials browser light or luminous. We have the luminous, the translucent orange, white, or the light bulb on. Let's try the light bulb on this object, on the TV, and on the ceiling light. Let's try. We render, there would be inside light. This is rendered in a medium setting. And this should be your end goal. This would be your output for the for this session. Ayun po. So I think I can start answering question now. If Lay is ready na.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir John.
Okay, sir, thank you rin po.
Ayan, do we have questions ba?
Yes, I think it will be flashed po in our screen. And sorry po for earlier, Sir John, because I'm at the backstage po kanina, so I didn't get a chance to answer po.
Okay
So we
lang,
will
Lay.
wait for, okay po, thank you po. We will wait for the questions to pop up in our screen because it will be filtered by our tech team.
Ayan. Okay, shoutout daw muna, no? Shoutout first. Good evening from West Mid International School. Oh, yes, our friends in Batangas. Of course, Batangas State. Good evening. MSU, ang mga sa ating mga binisaya. Mayong gabi. Ayan, Bataan Peninsula State University. Thank you for joining us. Nueva Ecija, thank you. Yan, Sir James. Jerome. Ayan, kung walang tanong, tayo na lang magtatanong. Raffle muna.
Sir, if I may ask po, I have questions po kasi from earlier, from tutorial. I've been watching po since, ano po kasi, since Sir started doing the tutorial po. So, I will be the one to, ano po, to start the question. So, for my first question po is, wait lang po. Tinake note ko po kasi.
Ayan, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lay.
Um, for my first question po is, before you, ano po, for the cabinet po, how did you manage to, ano po, to put the, from the drawing in 2D and going back to a isometrical view po? I think
Ah,
you have clicked something po from world to another perspective, if I am right po.
From 2D to isometric.
Yes po. Yung how you in the thing that you how you created po that table, bedside table po.
Bedside table. Oh, this one. Oh,
Yes po.
okay. This one, remember, if you are in a top view here and you have a you are in a view or southeast isometric, you can also see this one. So you have the top view here, and in 2D you have the side views or different sides of the wall. So what I did, copy the elevation. You just copy this one, bring it over. So now what you have is a two parts of drawer. Okay, so Lay, you asked what did I do? So how can I rotate this one? So if you rotate this one without using the UCS, it would only rotate this way. Am I correct? Lay,
Yes
you
sir.
maybe
Yes
you
po.
tried this one. Okay, so to rotate this one, you can use the UCS, handle the UCS, and you must specify that you will be rotating on this plane. MI gets? Because you will rotate it
Yes, sir.
from this going here. So, if you, I'll repeat the UCS, UCS, let's go to world. So, this is the default UCS, X and Y. UCS, much better if you are in ortho or F8, specify the x-axis or the y-axis. Then the plane you would be moving on is the side in 2D. So when you rotates on this perspective. Yan. So let's go back. So before you move this one, make sure your UCS is in world again. So your moving plane is side naman. You can move it again, holding the lowest part. Then, di tayo naka-ano. The lowest part, then selecting. So there, we have the drawer on a pseudo 3D. So now we can start adding volume by extruding. Yan. So, ganun siya ginagawa.
Okay po, sir. That is very much noted po. Thank you for answering my query po. And I think we will now be entertaining. I think we have questions piled up here in our comment section, and we will now just, yeah. So for our first question po, Sir Jomar.
Ayan. For the assignment, are we required to do all 3 examples? Tanungin natin para kay Sir Jan yan.
Okay, so for the assignment, your goal is to show a 3D rendered bedroom. So, up to you, anong materials, anong color combination ng bedroom, at least you tried to render or color your bedroom. So, we expect a rendered output. Ganun po.
And thank you po, sir, for answering that question. And we have here another question from J-Rod's Idolizers Ninja. What a name. If it's okay, may I ask, how did you create the pillow, sir?
The pillow. So, for pillow, let's extract the pillow muna. So for pillow, this is a mesh object. So I did this by fill. So as you can see, it's very tessellated. So when you go to mesh and smoothness, it started really as a mesh box like this one. Ito. So nagsimula siya as ganyan. So slice mo siya ng slice. Then hanggang sa makuha mo yung gusto mo na ano. So you get the rough idea of what the pillow would look like. Then after getting the rough, the rough 3D part, you can smooth the object. Then you get the smoother pillow. So like this one. That is how the pillow is created. So for additional, nakita ko yung question. Effective way of creating a pillow. Patience. And much better if you have a reference image. So if you have an image, for example, pillow like this one in this side, then a pillow in this side. So you get the edges of your mesh object going to these parts. Ayun siya. So eventually, mag-gets nyo rin yan pag naano niya na. Then, the key is this command, smooth more. Okay, sir, I think next question tayo, sir.
Okay po, sir. We're now moving. Thank you for answering that question po, and we'll now moving po to the next question. The question is from Kyle Adrian Oliva. Ask ko lang po, pwede ba ma-adjust ang intensity ng textures? For example, para yung wood ay mas ma-highlight yung grain patterns or joints ng flooring, etc. kapag i-render na. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. So, for the patterns or joints ng flooring, I suggest you get a high quality image. So, for example, meron ako ditong ano, this one. So, this one is a EVA foam. So, this one is a EVA foam. So, if you notice, this is a square. So, medyo inano-ano ko lang yan. Dito mo siya you can edit it here. So, you have the EVA foam. You can import any image or select an image or edit image. Then source, you can select any image you want of the surface. So, I'll share to you ng isang PDF.
We have another raffle draw. Comment down. Thanks, PUP Tagig. While waiting for Sir John.
So again, our code for the raffle is thanks PUP to gig. It's capital T, capital PUPT, and the rest is small letters with no space.
Yan.
Okay. So, for example, yung the textures that you will be using can be found online. So, for example, the brushed EVA foam that I used in this design ng decking ng boat, I got it from a catalog. I scanned the catalog, then use the texture images, or much better if you can find an online PDF. So you can create your own textures. You can save it. For example, this camouflage design. And apply it to any 3D object you want. So you can use it also as a presentation. Like this. From one of my projects. So, this one, parang, I really use AutoCAD for, parang Sketchup. Ayan, ganun.
I think we will now move. Sir John Mark, are we going to move with the first muna po ba? Ayan.
Okay, raffle draw muna. Our back. So again, comment down. Thanks, PUP Tagig.
Ayan, sir, we have many entries po from our comment section.
Okay. Okay. The winner for this raffle draw is Patricio James John.
Congratulations to our winner, Patricio James Johnson. And may you just, ano po, sir, what is the price for that raffle po?
The price again is LinkedIn Learning Subscription. Ayan. Okay.
Thank you for that, sir.
Let's get back to the questions. Another question.
Going back to our question, Sir Jomart.
Ayan. Good evening, sir. Super advanced po ang tinuro nyo. Ask ko lang kung pwede po ba mag-animate sa AutoCAD. Yung para pong nagalaw ang object, hindi po ang camera. Thanks in advance. Kunyari, exploded animation, Sir John.
So for AutoCAD, to my knowledge, no, you cannot animate in AutoCAD.
Okay po. And before, okay po, Sir Jomart.
Ayan. Ano kaya tinutukoy ni Sir James? I think scaling ata sa pagpiprint.
In 3D CAD. So, okay. So for 3D CAD, ang scaling natin, di ko siya ina-advise na gawin nyo dun sa plans. So, I'll show to you. Saan ba yun? Kung paano ko siya pinipresent kapag naka 3D CAD. Okay, kapag naka 3D CAD, naka 3D CAD siya, dapat i-render nyo muna yung image. So after nyo ma-render yung image, it will be your supporting document na lang dito. So this one is a PNG image. Nakalock na siya, kaya di ko na siya magalaw eh. So i-insert niyo yung image. At the same time, nandito yung 2D ng 2D ng project nyo. Either yung top view, then yung front view, side view. Dito lang siya sa area na to. Maglaan lang kayo dito ng side for your 3D rendered images. Ayun po. So for scaling, yung up to you kung what scale will you use for the 2D images. So for the 3D rendered images, it's 1:1 if you do it in the model. Ito, ganito. This is 1:1 modeled, then rendered. then layouted in this DWG. So I hope it's clear na 3D is for assistance only on the 2D project.
Ayan, from Hilario Lyson. Ano sabi niya, Sir Lay?
So for sa question po ay question of Hilario Lyson, yung output is image file or CAD file or both?
Okay, kung ako ang tatanungin, I suggest i-drop nyo siya sa Google Drive nyo, tapos i-share nyo na lang sa amin yung link para ma-download namin. 'Di ba?
Okay.
Ayan. And of
So
course, syempre, maganda may rendered file. Tapos yung rendered file nyo, ah, please share it din sa group natin. Post nyo yung mga works nyo para ma-feature natin.
So I think, sir, before we move on po for the next questions, we will now be moving po muna with the first raffle po. And again, I will be reiterating po um, the mechanics for our giveaways. First is that you have to be registered first in our through our registration links that is posted in the comment section in our day one and earlier in the start of our event of day two. And of course, you have to stay with us in this event because later on, when we pick the winner, we will be requiring the winner to comment to any digital platform where we are being broadcasting live. And of course, you have to share our live in Facebook using your official Facebook accounts. And I will just be reminding all of our viewers tonight that this giveaway will only be eligible for those who are in the Philippines. And I think we can start now po the spinning of the wheel.
Pasabi
Ooh,
na
let's
lang, Sir Lay, na spin.
okay po. One spin po. And of course, yung mapapanalunan po pala ng ating the first winner will be having ayan, we will be having a cup, the content creator cup. So ang pangalan po is Juliana Marie A. Sagadal. So we are requesting Miss Juliana Marie A. Sagadal to comment 3D modeling in the comment section for us to know that you are here with us. For it to be fair for
Ayan.
all of the participants. So,
Yep, yep. Same din sa ginawa ni Sir Patrick James. Ayan, oh, nag-thank you siya. So, we know that he is here to claim the prize. Ayan, so dapat mag-comment, kahit mag-comment lang siya na yeah, yeah. I'm the winner.
yes po, just to inform us that you are here with us. And if the winner po did not do any comments po, it will be void po. So we will be spinning again for the name who will win the content creator cup.
Siguro next question,
Okay po.
can we use the layering command in 3D?
Yes, sir, definitely. Much better if you use layering. So, for example, you layer your blocks according to furniture, according to walls. Then you have uh your perimeters. Yes, you can definitely use, and it will be much easier to manage your drawings in 3D if you use layering.
Okay, another question.
So for our next question po, Sir Jomark, I will be the one to ano na lang po, to read. So this is from Jovil Jane Penetrante Pagador. So hello sir, I would like to ask if nakaset na ang camera to its desired angle. Paano po ba ito ma-capture for PDF file?
You press render lang. I-render mo na siya. Then, pag nag-render ka na siya, after rendering, you can save it as PNG image. So, I'll show you a quick one. For example, i-render natin ito. We go to visualize. Render to size. Let's go with HDTV. Nag-pop up. Okay. Share screen lang ulit ako ng isa pa. Yan.
Wala pa, sir. Ayan, ayan, ayan na.
Handa ako, sir. Okay. So, for example, render mo siya. Then, may pop-up window. Pag naka-render window. So, pop-up window, rendering. Ano yung nasa viewport mo. Then, in your viewport, it will have then the level of rendering. So, at the same time, you can also view your previous renders. You can save a copy. And so, when we wait for render, ayan. So, habang nag-render or while rendering, you can save this already to a file. So, for a file, you can select the file name from 1, 2, 3. And the image formats are TGA. Suggest you all save to PNG. So, why? For the reason is yung black area in this rendered image will be transparent when you put it in a file, or for example, for presentations in a PDF, in a Microsoft Word file, this black side is transparent. So let's try saving. 1, 2, 3. Save. And 32 bits. That's per inch. Okay. Okay, so when you save, after rendering, pwede rin nyo rin sang i-print as rendered image. So, kung gusto mo is PDF siya, Microsoft Print to PDF. So, print. 1, 2, 3, you have your PDF file. Okay, so I hope clear na we have two types of saving the rendered image. Yun lang, sir.
Thank you sir, nakamute po kayo Sir Jomark. Ayan po.
Ayan. Ano tayo, Sir Lay? Void na?
I think sir, because that is the mechanics given po by the AutoCAD PH team po.
Okay. Sige po, Miss Nelsie. Raffle ulit natin sa spinning wheel mo.
Okay po. So,
Ayan.
we want to
Ang price
extend
daw
our
ay yung bag.
apology. Apa, yung cup po. We want to extend our apology to Miss Juliana because you haven't updated us with your comments. So we will be respinning another name who will be winning the Content Creator Cup. And the winner for our Content Creator Cup is Farad P. Muti. So let us know that you are here by commenting that or by commenting anything that we will be able to recognize that you are here with us. So we will be waiting for your comment.
Ayan. Again, what's his name? Farads
Farad, I forgot the last
Muti.
name po.
Nag-comment po si
Ayan.
Miss Juliana.
Oh.
O baka naman ang pangalan kasi ni Juliana,
Juliana. I haven't seen her, sir,
Marvelous
kanina.
pala. Mahirap yun. Wag
Nakatago po pala for screen name. So, Sir Jomark, what are we going to what is going to be our decision po? Oh, ngayon ko lang po nakita nag-reflect here yung ano po niya pangalan, which is Juliana.
Okay. So
are we going to give it to her po, sir, or to Mr. Farad?
okay. So we have two winners na, to Farad and Juliana.
Oh. Have we seen Mr. Farad po, sir, that he commented po in the comment section box?
Yun lang, wala pa. Anyways, last question to Sir John.
Yan. Proceed tayo for the last question for Sir John for tonight's event. Yan. We have here a question from Mr. James Jerome Bacalso. So his question is, can we import figures from Sketchup application to 3D CAD, sir?
I haven't done importing from SketchUp to 3D CAD because 3D CAD, 3D AutoCAD to me is the SketchUp. So I haven't used SketchUp in a long time. So you can try to figure out by creating some boxes in SketchUp, then trying it to save in DWG if the AutoCAD can open it.
Okay, sir. I think that concludes po our question and answer. Going back to our giveaways po. Sir, for Sir John Mark, may I ask po if that two winners is for the cup only po? Hello, sir. Naka-mute po kayo,
Ayan.
Sir John Mark.
Inaantay pa natin si Farad, no? So while waiting for him, I would like to share some tips and techniques sa inyo, no, with regards to job hunting. So in LinkedIn, guys, under LinkedIn, if you head over to jobs, okay, I can search there AutoCAD. Okay? So, again, I am sharing to you tips and tricks on how to find a job. Not only a job, but a client. Okay? So, ito yung lumabas. Here are the results. So, AutoCAD Plant 3D Drafter. So, from this keyword, parang ano to, di ba? Industrial Plant Engineering. Di ba guys? Di ba, Lay? IPE to na subject.
Yes, sir.
So again, that is how important AutoCAD is. And as I'm seeing here, ang sino Lay ang who's the recruiter, Lay?
Medyo maliit po yung screen, sir. Sorry po.
Ayan, the recruiter is
Wait lang po.
di mo pa rin kita.
Is it the first one po in the...
Ayan,
It's
posted
GHD
by.
po. Okay po. It is posted by the AutoCAD Plant 3D Drafter. Tama po ba, sir?
Ayan, sa right, posted by Sheila Marie Saberon. Okay? So, eto guys if you're looking for a job, so what do we do? Of course, connect with the recruiter. Okay? And eto, here's another tip. When you're connecting to someone in LinkedIn, do not just randomly, 'di ba, i-click ko yung connect, 'di ba? And then send. Do not press send. Always customize your message. Okay? Why? For example, um, hindi ako kilala ni Lay, 'di ba? Ni Layvan. Kung ko-connect ako sa kanya, wala lang. So ano kaya mafi-feel ni Layvan? Sino 'to? 'Di ba? So, hindi ko accept 'to, hindi ko kilala 'to, eh. Wala namang 'di ba? Wala man lang sinabi or something, 'di ba? So guys, maglagay kayo ng ganun. Kunyari, hi Layvan, we are both attendees in Sir John's AutoCAD class, would like to connect with you in LinkedIn. Always, guys, customize your message or make a quick search. For example, I'm going to connect with Lay. I saw him in Facebook na mahilig din siya maggitara. 'Di ba? Maganda lagyan niyo lagi guys ng ng customize yung 'di ba people buy from people they trust. 'Di ba? Para dumating yung agad yung trust. So, kung ako ang nasa situation ng isang job hunter, I'll be connecting with tons of technical recruiters. Si Miss Sheila is a technical recruiter, siyempre engineering. Oh. Imbes na ilalagay ko sharing the same interest with you in computer-aided design, hindi naman siya nag-AutoCAD eh. So I will probably human capital management. Diba? Yun ang ilalagay ko. Of course, hi Sheila. Okay, and then send. Okay, so ngayon, I set a connection request to Miss Sheila. Pero, ang next step, hindi lang yun, hindi lang kay Miss Sheila. Sino kaya probably, Sir John, ang mag-i-interview? Of course, dadaan initially kay Miss Sheila, di ba?
Yes, sir. Tama yun. Kay Miss Sheila
H-
yun talagang dadaan. Kasi
Oo,
siya
sa
yung
HR
nag-post.
muna.
Yes, sir.
Pero sino yung didesisyon? Di ba? Sino yung huling mag-i-interview sa atin, if ever? Perlay. Sino kaya?
I really have no idea, sir. May you please share it
Ayan,
to us?
probably, ang mag-i-interview, syempre, yung engineering manager na, yung magiging boss mo, di ba? Or after niya, mas higher pa, or probably mas lower, yung magiging kasamahan mo, ka-teammate mo. May mga ganong stages yan, di ba, Sir John? HR
Yes,
muna,
sir.
sunod, probably yung magiging ka-level mo, kasama mo sa cubicle, katabi mo sa cubicle, pangatlo, yung magiging boss nyo,
Manager.
pang-apat, yung boss ng boss ng boss. 'Di ba? Yung didesisyon kung okay lang ba yung salary na hinihingi mo. So, ganito guys, yung technique na i-share ko sa inyo, I'll be probably searching in ano, in Google, engineering manager, LinkedIn Philippines. 'Di ba? Ano lumabas? Sir Lay, Sir John. Ang lumabas si Darren Schreibs,
General Manager.
General Manager ng Philippines. Ibig sabihin, sobrang taas na nito. Pinaka-boss na. Pinaka-boss ng GHD sa Pilipinas. Okay? So ako, ang gagawin ko, of course guys, diba? It is not what you know, Sir Lay. It is... Sino kaya makakasagot? It is not what you know. It is... Sir Jan. It is not what you know. It is...
Who you know.
Ayun,
Alam ko yun,
totoo
sir.
yun guys. Mas mahalaga yung... Mahalaga din yung may alam. Siyempre, mahalaga alam mo yung AutoCAD. Pero kung kunyari, pareho kami ni Sir Lay, applicant, pareho kaming marunong ng AutoCAD, ang sunod na lalamang na doon ay it is who you know. And if ever, kunyari, si Darren Schreibs, hindi Pilipino, ka-schoolmate ko pala sa PUP Taguig, naging estudyante ni Sir Norbe, okay, that is a huge advantage. Advantage, no? So, ayan, I am sharing to you guys. Ayan, I'll be connecting with Darren na. And minsan, dahil pag-connect mo sa kanya, hindi ka nagbabanggit ng opening, minsan guys, sasabihan kayo niyan, ay, Lay, I saw that you know, AutoCAD. We have, a job opening for AutoCAD Plant 3D Drafter. Diba? Pero alam mo, na may hiring, may hiring sa kanila. So, again, 'di ba? Nagkaroon agad ng instant connection, 'di ba? Tapos bonus pa yung mga ganung bagay. Kunyari, alam mong you can brought it up sa interview. Oh, sir, mahilig din ako mag-basketball, mga ganun, mga extra curricular. So, ayun guys, those are some of the tips na sinishare ko sa inyo. And eto, may na-discover ako recently sa ano ba yun, sa dito sa group natin. Eto si Matthew, Sir Lay. Si Matthew is just a student, ha?
That is amazing, sir.
Oh, 'di ba? Look at Matthew. Kaya sa LinkedIn profiles nyo, I suggest lagyan nyo na mobile number, syempre, para mabilis kayo ma-reach out. And wag nyo isipin guys na na magkakaroon kayo ng trabaho kung kailan graduate na. Kahit ngayon pa lang, if you're good at what you do, 'di ba? You can have a job, a sideline. Okay? So I'm gonna be sharing etong course na to nasa comment section. Ayan, kung paano nyo i-optimize yung career, yung LinkedIn profile nyo. Ayan, so hoping na may matutunan kayo dyan. Yung nagturo dyan, si Miss Virginia Bautista. Ayun, magaling na consultant yon with regards to LinkedIn. So again, that is the same technique. I'll be connecting with Kat. Diba? I'll be digging in. Kaya lang ito, mas more on civil eh. Civil 3D, X-Steel. Diba? Ito, siguro, Senior Design Engineer sa Dyson, Alabang lang. O, to 3D CAD. Pang mechanical to. Diba? I'll be making a search kung sino HR ng Dyson at saka engineering manager ng Dyson. Okay? So, yep. And lastly, last raffle draw. Ayan, isa pa sa StreamYard, ang winner natin. Ito, the prize is LinkedIn Learning subscription. The winner is
And the winner is Mawel Isuela. So you will be winning a LinkedIn premium account. And it turns out, sir, no, just to share that the one who win the Content Creator Cup is, it turns out to be my lower year po. So I'm trying to contact her earlier so that I am not able to focus on what you want to say to me sir earlier po. I'm really sorry po.
Ayan, okay
And
lang. Sorry din.
and moving on po to another name who will win the next giveaway for tonight. I think it's the MSI belt bag. So makikita nyo is talagang very sleek na design and intriguing. So who will win our belt bag for tonight? Again, same mechanics. You will just comment down below in any platforms which we are being broadcasted live. So for our winner for the belt bag is Miss Jonaline A. Ministerio. So what you will have to do is to just comment in any platform that we are being broadcasted live. So we will know that you are here with us.
Ayan. Okay. So, again, who's the winner? Congratulations to her. Sino ulit?
Uh, Di ko po ata na-take note yung name.
Ayan,
Ayan,
Jonaline.
Jonaline A. Ministerio po. Ayan.
Okay,
Thank you
and
po for
finally,
the support.
additional...
Go po, Sir
Okay,
Jomar.
okay. Yep, finally, additional learning resource. I'm gonna be sharing this course sa lahat ng publicly na lang. Okay? Publicly, ibig sabihin, if you are in LinkedIn, ma-access nyo yung course na to. Additional learning resource. So, suggesting ko sa inyo, you download the LinkedIn Learning app din para if ever, pwede nyo mapanood sa mga phones nyo. Okay? I made it free for all the AutoCAD students of malabas ba? Friend ba kita, Sir John?
Oo,
Ayan.
sir. Yan, sir.
Ayan. Hashtag thanks PUP Kagig. PSME. Ayan. Ayan. So, if you are linked in LinkedIn, puntahan nyo lang po yung profile ko and then, ayan, shared na yung course. Paki-confirm nga, Lay, kung na-access mo. So again, pag pumunta kayo sa profile ko, nandun siya sa activity. Ayan, check out this course. I have made it free for you. All. Mali pa pala, all. Free for you to all AutoCAD students of Jan. Ayan, so ano ba laman nito? Marami rin to. Units, drawings, modifying objects. Enough din, no? Para to get you going in AutoCAD. Tapos yung exercise files yan, chat nyo na lang din ako so that I can share the exercise files. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
I
with that,
visited po your profile in LinkedIn and it is accessible for all po. Nakamute po kayo, Sir Jomar. Ayan.
okay, so with that, usap-usap na lang tayo ulit. Let's continue this conversation in our communities. So definitely Sir John and me and everyone in the team is there to support you. So our next live survey is sa certificates na, di ba?
I think I will be having, sir, first po, mga announcement before we conclude this event po. And let me start po by, let me check po. Let me start po by the, before I forgot po yung nanalo po pala for the belt bag. Is she, nakakapag-comment na po ba siya? Ano po ba?
Kung wala, i-raffle na lang natin sa ano, sa Friday, sa release ng certificate.
Okay po.
Ayan. Oh, okay.
You have
Ibig
questions
sabihin,
po, sir?
Sir Mawel, swerte ka. I suggest tumaya ka sa loto. Okay, siguro yung ano na lang, yung LinkedIn, iparaffle na lang natin ulit sa Friday. Tama ba, Sir Lay?
Okay po, sir. That is
Ngayon,
noted
doon na
po.
lang.
And I will now proceed po to the announcement po before we conclude this event. First is for the output announcement po. So, for the output announcement po is just a reminder, making of output is not compulsory and it is only for those who want to receive a completion certificate. And for the certificate of appreciation, let us now move to the certificate of appreciation to be given to our speaker for tonight's event, Engineer John Emil Mortilla. Let me read the content of the certificate. Autodesk Community Philippines, CAD Community, Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to John Emil Mortilla for sharing his valuable knowledge as a guest sharer in AutoCAD 2022 3D Essential Training held on the 5th and 6th day of April 2022 live streamed from Metro Manila, Philippines. Signed, Event Chairman Engineer Jomart Bakiran. Once again, thank you very much, Engineer John Emil Mortilla, for giving us a very wonderful tutorial and insightful tutorial, sir.
Thank you rin, Lay, and thank you everyone who attended the AutoCAD 3D training. PSME, Sergio Mark, and the team Autodesk Community Philippines, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity.
And yes, sir. We are very pleased po to have you here in our event, Sir John. And I hope that we will be having another event with you po, hopefully. And for the deadline of output pala, before I forgot, is on April 11, 2022. So you have enough time to finish your output for the certificate of completion. And I will now further move to the announcement, other announcement for tonight. And only those who registered through the registration link will receive the exercise file for the output needed for you to receive the completion certificate. So I hope you make sure that the email that you input in the registration link is your active email. And if so, you can check the email, the exercise file in your spam because it may be there. So for the claiming of certificate of participation, it will be this week, Friday, April 8th, 7 p.m. We will go live again, and all questions in claiming your certificate of participation will be answered there. And no need to do the exercise or output if you do only want or need the certificate of participation. Only what you will be needing is a AutoCAD account. So if any one of you haven't had a AutoCAD account, you can create an account in education.com, education.autodesk.com. So I think that concludes po the announcements as we conclude this event. Is there any announcement po, Sir Jomar?
Ayan, so I guess see you all this coming Friday for the release of certificates. Thank you and good evening and goodbye everyone. Sana po may
Thank you,
natutunan kayo,
everyone.
nakatulong kami. Sir John,
Bye
thank
po.
you.
Thank you po ulit, Sir John. We
Sir,
hope to
thank
see you
you.
on
Thank
our
you,
next event
everybody.
po.